Flagg is the consensus #1 pick, and it would be absolutely dumb to go against the grain here. And here's why. He's got a 7-foot wingspan length, and a lot of times players with those huge wingspans aren't necessarily always high IQ. Flagg is. He's got a high defensive IQ, and also on the offensive end, it shows there as well. He's efficient everywhere. You're talking 39% from 3. You're talking 84% from the free throw line. He rarely forces or takes bad shots. When he was a teenager at EYBL, he held players to 10.5% shooting when he was the closest defender. That continued in college because he can not only guard 1 through 5 on tape and hold his own in isolation. You're talking about 14 total points allowed and 34 isolation possessions at Duke. On top of that, he already plays like a veteran at 18. You're talking about leading Duke in clutch possessions. You're talking about leading Duke in defensive rotations. You're talking about propping up other players on your team and making them, you're raising their draft stock. He doesn't foul as well on defense. You're talking 2.5 fouls per 40 minutes, despite guarding the top scorers. He dropped 42 points in one game. That's his best game of the season probably, where he shot 11 for 14 from the field. He shot 4 for 6 from 3 and 16 for 17 at the free throw line. Those are NBA numbers already. He's an absolute gym rat. This showed because he won ACC Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year. He probably should have won Defensive Player of the Year, but only got all defensive because he was second in the Defensive Player of the Year voting to Chucky Hepburn. But overall, all of this stuff pairs with his competitive high character, and it makes him an absolute cultural standout for any team. So Dylan Harper might be the pick for #2, but I'm going to make the case for VJ Edgecombe. Because with Dylan Harper, you're talking about a weird fit with Castle, a weird fit with Fox. But more so than that, I also think Edgecombe might just be the better player. I mean, they're both really good. I think they'll both be all-stars. But here's the case for Edgecombe. You're talking about an athletic freak. He averaged 16, 5, 4, and 2 versus grown pros when he was playing with Bahamas in those Olympic qualifiers, and he showed that he was dominant in transition. He's still developing as a sharpshooter. You looked at him improve from 30% to 35.5% from 3 during the middle of the season, so he's getting better every day. You're talking about 78% from the free throw line. It suggests that his three-point percentage should only grow. He's a steal machine. You're talking about 93rd percentile for steal percentage. He's got elite anticipation, especially in lanes and in scramble situations. Furthermore, he's also a cut and catch specialist. You're talking 93rd percentile on cuts. You're talking 81st percentile on spot ups. Talk about a guy who's doing everything off the ball. He's a perfect low usage, low volume, high impact wing. Furthermore, you want a guy who can finish at the rim in transition. And for a guard, he finishes 64.4% at the rim. You're talking easy buckets. You're talking speed. You're talking power. He's got super high feel in the open floor. This is such a good pick to me. He's known for his elite work ethic, and he's known around the locker room for his character. You're talking from Bahamas to Baylor. Every single coach that he's played for has praised his specifically maturity, consistency, and leadership. So Dylan Harper slides to pick 3, but don't let that lead to the conclusion that he's not going to be an all-star for something. I think this class is really strong at the top end, and Harper is 100% a part of it. I think in terms of what he's really good at is the downhill scoring. He finishes 70% at the rim, which is in the 92nd percentile in college. He does that with his elite body control, his elite footwork against NBA caliber bigs in film. He's an elite pick and roll operator. You're talking 78th percentile. He's so good at splitting those double teams, and he's so good at finishing through that. He thrives against doubles because of his live dribble reads. He's got true playmaking upside as well. He's 27% assist ratio with a good assist to turnover ratio. Granted, all of that stuff is higher. It's inflated because no one can really pass the ball on Rutgers. But the low turnovers is super impressive. His shooting base is also solid, 75% free throw shooting, as well as 33% from the 3-ball. That's all despite tough looks and poor spacing, so that free throw consistency suggests that his jumper should also improve as well. In terms of the defensive end, he brings toughness and such polish and poise. He's able to guard 1 through 4. He's 6'6". He's got a good large wingspan, and what he always gives, which his counterpart at Rutgers does not, he always brings effort and consistency. The impact is crystal clear. Rutgers was plus 11 points per 100 possessions with him on the court. He's a floor raiser. He's a culture setter. So pick number 4, this is someone I am so high on. It's Cedric Coward. We know the big story with him is he started in Oregon at Willamette University. He transferred to Eastern Washington, then to Washington State where he played 6 games, and he exploded at those last 2 places. He's got one of the rarest draft journeys in modern history. But the mental makeup is not like out of nowhere. He's the grandson of Olympic gold medalist Maxie Parks, and Coward even describes himself as deathly serious, and he plays like that on the court. His focused demeanor fueled his rise, and it's such an impressive story, and I bet on that resilience every time. He's got elite size and spacing. He measured 6'6" with a 7'2" wingspan. He shot over 40% from 3. He shot 83.9% from the free throw line. He is the perfect catch and shoot wing with stretch upside, especially with this pick. I have the Hornets taking him. He's perfect next to LaMelo Ball. He's just an all-around offensive engine. In those 6 games this season, he averaged 17.7 points, 7 rebounds, 3.7 assists on 56% field goal percentage, 65.6% effective field goal, and 70% true shooting. That is so efficient, and it is so versatile as a scorer. Furthermore, his playmaking, 20.6% assist rate, a 1.7 assist to turnover ratio. He is a great connector, and he's got real passing reads. At that size is incredible. He averaged 1.4 steals, 1.7 blocks per game over that limited sample size, granted, but he switches so well on film against positions, and he offers weak side rim protection. I mean, you could just go on with this kid. He's 97th percentile in. And at the end of the day, Coward is just an advanced movement weapon. You're talking 97th percentile in points per possession. Come on. He excels in transition and off ball. He shows both great feel and great athleticism. At pick 5, Utah need help. They go Colin Murray-Boyles here. He's efficient. He's a defensive Swiss Army forward. He lifts the entire team. He battles through adversity. He's a bully in the paint. But now that next step is building that jumper to unlock a next level upside. In the SEC, he led the SEC in field goal percentage at 59%. He was able to finish through contact with multiple defenders on him, and he's just got relentless strength in the paint. You're talking about a defensive anchor as well. 1.5 steals, 1.3 blocks per game. South Carolina allowed 12.1 fewer points per 100 possessions when Colin Murray-Boyles was on the court. He posted 2.4 assists per game as well. He's got good vision. He's got good composure. He's a good short roll playmaker. In terms of that toughness and focus, talk about a story. One game, he changed shoes mid-game. He returned to score 24 points. He was 11 for 15 on shooting when that happened. It's a cool story. Check it out. In terms of lifting his team, South Carolina before him were 221st on KenPom. When he joined the team, they were top 60. You want to talk about a winner? You talk about Colin Murray-Boyles. He lifted that entire team and should be a top 5 pick. He shot just 26.8% from 3 and 71 at the free throw line, so that's where he has to improve, and that's what's scaring teams. But everything else is just like, you have to love him. You have to love Colin Murray-Boyles. So the Wizards at 6 take Ryan Kalkbrenner. He's high IQ. He's so good in drop coverage at rim protecting. He's got shooting upside, efficient finishing. You're not going to find his size and polish often. And I don't think your team should wait for him to fall because of the age or whatever. I think you take him because he's so talented, and he's been so talented for 5 years. He's got a 7'6" wingspan and 9'4" standing reach. He averaged 2.7 blocks per game. He was anchoring Creighton's top-tier rim defense, and they were top-tier because of him. He committed just 2.2 fouls per 100 possessions, which is probably his best attribute, the fact he doesn't foul. He shot nearly 70% at the rim, which led the Big East in field goal percentage. And one game, he dropped 49 points on 20 of 22 field goal. He is dominant inside at scoring. He is so dominant. In terms of stretching the court, he shot 34% from 3 and 66.7% on threes at the combine. This shows he's able to space the court at the next level. One of the only centers in the class that can actually do that. He averaged 2.7 points per game. He's got strong reads out of the post, and he's 80th percentile for big man facilitation. What can this guy not do? Ask me that. You might think he's slow, but I don't think he's slow at all. Maluach, to me, is a lot slower footed. Kalkbrenner is able to make up that space. He held opponents to 44% shooting at the rim. This is Kalkbrenner. That is elite as a paint deterrent. He thrives in drop coverage. He's going to have to be used in drop coverage. He might struggle a little bit in switch-heavy systems, but in terms of a conservative rim-protecting role on defense like a Rudy Gobert, he works perfect, and we've seen that work. You have to take the talent. his lateral mobility and rebounding inconsistency might be red flags for some, but he's still a good rebounder. His sophomore year, he was really good at rebounding, and he tapered off a bit, but I think he can bring that back. I think in terms of his fit, you're going to need small guards that can rebound well to play with him, but Washington need anchor-level interior defense and shooting upside in its rebound, and I think Kalkbrenner complements stretch forwards, and he stabilizes the back line. The next pick falls to New Orleans, and I got them taking Rasheer Fleming out of St. Joe's. Rasheer Fleming is that modern stretch forward, shooting 39% from 3 on 4.5 attempts per game. He's got 62 made threes and 74% from the free throw line. He's great as a pick-and-pop weapon. He's got elite physical tools, some of the best tools in the class. You're talking 6'9", you're talking a 7'5" wingspan. He averaged 1.5 blocks a game, 1.4 steals a game, and he anchored as a 82nd percentile in rim defense as not even a center, but a stretch 4. Or, he could even play the 3, I think, at the next level. He ranked in the 88th percentile on cuts, 79th percentile on spot-ups. That is a perfect player to play alongside Zion. In terms of his rim deterrence, he has a 5.6% block rate. Again, incredible for not being a center. He held opponents to 44% at the rim. You're talking about superb, strong help side presence. He grabs 8.5 rebounds per game. He's a great rebounder. He shows toughness. He shows hustle. And in terms of the space he takes up, that's probably my favorite thing about him, just watching the tape. He takes up so much space on the court. He's ready as an NBA player right now. He doesn't necessarily need the ball, but he contributes with his spacing, his rim protection, and his smart movement. He's a tailor-made glue guy. And his wild cards here is he's not a shot creator off the bounce. He's still learning foul discipline, which might give him trouble because he's a reactive help defender. But in terms of the Pelicans' fit, you just got Jordan Poole, so I was thinking maybe Jase Richardson before that, but I think with Poole now, I think it cements further why they should take Rasheer Fleming, especially if you're going to trade Trey Murphy. You still need that wing. You still need that presence. And even if you keep Trey Murphy, I think Fleming's your guy. He offers shooting, he offers length, and that defensive insurance around scores without demanding touches every possession. It's perfect for the Pelicans. Brooklyn on the clock at 8. They're going to be super fun because of their 5 first-round picks. It's going to be such an exciting draft for them. I've got them taking Nique Clifford out of Colorado State because Clifford does everything well on the court, but obviously he played 5 years in college. I think he just needed someone to finally hand him the keys, and Colorado State unlocked him. In terms of rebounding, this guy grabbed 26% of defensive rebounds, nearly 10 a game. We've seen in the late stages of the playoffs that rebounding matters, and that's why Nique Clifford is so high on my board. He's smart, he's an unselfish playmaker. He's got a high assist-to-turnover ratio, he can handle the ball, he needs the ball to thrive. He shows clean decisions within the offense, plays in rhythm, and he never forces shots. That's what you love on film, he never forces. He's a switchable defender. He guards 1 through 3 with ease. He uses really good footwork. He knows his angles, and he's disciplined and doesn't take overly risky gambles while still sometimes taking those gambles, but they're smart. He leads his team in rebounding. He's 3rd in assists. He's 2nd in blocks. He's just a motor guy who fills every single gap, and it's perfect for Brooklyn because you need everything. And I think Nique Clifford can lead the team because the one thing I love about him more than everything is his character. Teammates call him like a quiet vocal. He's got a calm presence who leads without noise, but to me, he's got this aura and this presence that's very similar to like Tyrese Halliburton's like calm command that he has. That's Nique Clifford to me. Nique Clifford, obviously, as I stated before, he's got that late bloom value. He took time to pop, but he was so dominant, he was so productive, and he was so mature in that last season with Colorado State. He offers versatility, he offers leadership to Brooklyn who need it. They're lacking identity, and he's a plug-and wing who can play point guard as well, and he does the dirty work. He makes everyone better around him without needing the spotlight, although I do think you give him the spotlight, and over time, you'll reap the rewards of it. He'll cook. So the Raptors on the clock at 9, and I have them taking Carter Bryant, and I think if he falls, they love that pick. The reason why, he's got elite size, he's got elite tools. He stands 6'8", he's got a 7-foot wingspan. This low-key shocked me. He has an 8'10" standing reach. That's incredible. Those tools are just gifts. He posted a 5.8% block rate, a 2.8% steal rate. He disrupts wings across positions, and he was like the Arizona's best defender by a mile. He was so good. He's an efficient shooter. You're talking 37.1% from 3 on 105 attempts. He's got 59% true shooting, which is really good. He doesn't force shots. He thrives on smart, high-value looks. I remember one shot in the tournament he hit, I think it was against Akron. It was incredible. It was like a step back, bang, bang, boom. In terms of his family history, he has like deaf grandmothers, which he says it helped shape him a lot. He balanced a 3.8% GPA and a criminal justice major, and he was so good on the court. In terms of his defense, he's able to switch 1 through 4. He holds opponents to 44% at the rim, and he averages just 2.5 fouls per 40. He's clean. He's got a high-level defensive presence. More so, you just love the winning tape. He's able to make an impact with his rebounding, his movement, his defensive tone setting. The concerns here are the shot volume. He averaged just under 5 attempts per game. So we wonder, will that offense scale with his usage? And that's definitely a question mark. But at the beginning in Toronto, you've got Ingram, you've got Scotty Barnes, and I think he complements them tremendously. They value size, and Carter Bryant is that. He's got unproven creation in terms of he flashes off of the bounce ability, but the mid-range and self-creation still need to emerge to fully unlock his ceiling, and that's the hope for Toronto, that you do that. The Suns at 10 need bigs. That's their biggest weakness, and Thomas Sorber is a high upside, kind of a throwback big, but he's got modern-day feel. His frame and his elite reach are great. He's 6'10", 262 pounds, with a 7'6" wingspan. That wingspan is huge. Sorber anchored the paint with 2 blocks per game, 1.5 steals per game, 8.5 rebounds per game. He was so physical, and he was an enforcer from day one. He's got super, super high feel. He averaged 2.4 assists. He showed flashes as a short roll passer and a post playmaker, despite shaky spacing and guard play on that Georgetown team. I mean, he was one of the only positive signs on that Georgetown team. He's got such good upside, 72% from the line. He's got mid-range feel. Sometimes he's got some good floaters on tape. He's only 16% from deep, but the indicators are there for a jumper long term. He immediately will produce for the Suns in the NBA. He put up numbers on a struggling Georgetown team, and he elevated that program's energy, totally turned it around, and his competitiveness was so huge when he was on the court. The offensive bag is a little unrefined. It's unclear like how much shot creation he'll have or go-to skill he'll have, but again, I think that's fine. Part of it is because the paint was so clogged, the guard play was so poor, that it makes it tough to fully evaluate. But when you're on a team with Jalen Green, Devin Booker, I'm not high on Jalen Green, but basically those guys are going to be scoring. And I think Sorber can fill into that, plug into that role really effectively. Obviously, the foot injury gives him caution. He ended the season with that lower body injury, so you got to monitor his long-term health. And in terms of the fit, he's definitely undersized for a 5. I think the tools probably make up for that. But he obviously doesn't shoot yet from 3, so he'll need to anchor defensively at such a high level and prove he can defend in space to just avoid getting schemed off the court. This is a high upside lottery swing, though. In a class without like so many dominant bigs, Sorber has power, he's got instincts, he's got feel, and that makes him a potential franchise defensive anchor. Think like Isaiah Stewart with a little bit more polish. So with Portland on the clock here at 10, I'm going Jase Richardson, and here's why. He's a sniper off the catch. You're talking 41.2% from 3, 50% on open spot-ups, 39.5% when guarded. He's a floor spacing weapon, and he's got movement versatility. He can play off the ball, he can play with the ball. He's such a composed facilitator. He's got a good assist-to-turnover ratio. He's able to make smart reads both on the ball and as a secondary playmaker if you need him to be that. He's so proven under pressure. You're talking about 20-plus points in consecutive tournament games. He was 4 of 6 in clutch threes in those games where he just rises when it matters the most. He's such an efficient slasher. You're talking 70% at the rim in the 92nd percentile. So even though he's undersized, his touch is so good. He's so explosive in transition, and he's so tough in traffic despite that modest size. He's also 85th percentile in spot-up and 77th in isolation defense. He's able to use his quick hands and positioning to overcome that size. He's got such strong positional defense. Obviously, the son of NBA vet Jason Richardson, he's able to play with elite poise, vision, and maturity that goes beyond his years. That's what I love about him, is he's almost like to me, he's got kind of Chris Paul aura, if you will. He needs a strength boost at the next level, so at 6'3", NBA level physicality could bother his on-ball defense. I think his off-ball instincts are really good. It's kind of like a Reed Shepherd situation to me in terms of that. And then also in terms of his rebounding, he doesn't impact the glass much, but if you have a rebounding heavy front court, if you've got Klingon and stuff like that, I think he works really well. I think the Portland fit, you just traded for Jrue Holiday, and Richardson profiles perfectly there. He's got the off-ball shooting, he's got the poise, and that defensive buy-in, which makes him such a good apprentice in a backcourt that demands IQ and toughness. So with Chicago on the clock at 12, I've got them taking Adou Thiero. He's such a modern two-way glue guy, and I'm so high on what his potential, I don't like the word potential, but I'm so high on what he can be. He's 6'8", he's got a 7'5" wingspan. Thiero averages 1.5 steals, 1.5 blocks. He holds opponents to 80, he's in the 82nd percentile in rim efficiency. He is such a switchable defensive stopper. That's what you love about him. He's fast in transition, which is what the Bulls want. In terms of his rim dominance, he shoots 62% from the field, 74% at the rim is impeccable, and he averaged 18.5 points per game post-transfer, which shows that he imposes his physicality in the paint. You love that. He's also got some playmaking upside. He's got some advanced reads. He's effective at hitting cutters out of post or out of drives, and he's just a winner. Arkansas had a plus 8.2 net rating swing and plus 12 points per 100 possessions on offense with him. He changed the game for them without needing plays necessarily run for him all the time. And he's got such tone-setting presence. He's charismatic, he's intense, he brings energy through hustle plays, through dunks, and through defensive momentum shifters. Coach Cal called him a unicorn for that team. I think, you're talking about a guy that started late as a player. He went from a role player at Kentucky to Arkansas's centerpiece on that team, where he was able to double scoring, double efficiency, and also double the defensive load. Obviously, the 34% from three is a little scary on low volume, so he's still developing that outside touch, and that's a little scary because he's an unproven shooter. But the traits you absolutely love. He had a hyperextended knee late in the season, so he missed games. So in terms of the injury risk, there is some there. But the Bulls, they can totally use him. He's switchable. He's a defensive-minded wing who doesn't necessarily need all the usage to contribute, all the volume to contribute. He's the high-motor connector that can kind of bring it all together for Chicago and play high-paced. With Atlanta on the clock at 13, I've got them taking Kon Knueppel. He's probably not going to fall there, but I don't love him going into a situation in the top 10 where he's not a complimentary piece. I don't think he's going to save your franchise, but I think alongside players, he's going to be awesome. He's not fixing a broken offense necessarily, but on a good team, he's really going to sharpen it. So he's a ceiling raiser, especially if his defense holds. He's an elite shooter. You're talking 40.6% from three. He's nearly automatic from the free throw line, 91.4%. And the stroke is so pure in the class. He's got deep range. He's got comfort off motion. He's a Clay-like connector, Klay Thompson. He's not just a sniper. He's got 2.7 assists per game. He was elite in the tournament when Flagg wasn't there. He's got a good assist to turnover ratio. It just shows he's got such elite feel and instinctiveness. He's got such instinctive passing even, and he keeps the offense humming for Duke. He's smart, not necessarily long. He's 6'7" with a near even wingspan, and so he lacks the physical margin on defense, but he makes up for that with his elite positioning and his elite awareness to kind of mitigate those mismatches. He's going to be hunted on screen, so we'll see how he does in terms of that. I love his character. Rooted, grounded, mature, Milwaukee-raised guy with an old-school work ethic. He's kind of like your truck, I heard it somewhere else. He's kind of like your truck driver that's like, oh my God, this truck driver's cooking us. He brings such a calm, disciplined presence to any locker room, and any locker room could totally use him. He won ACC Tournament MVP. Over 3 games, he dropped 63 points, 17 rebounds, 14 assists. He thrives in structure, but when stepped up, he's brought himself to the table and responded to it. In terms of the fit with Atlanta, Knueppel's shooting gravity, his cutting, his connected passing are perfect alongside a core of Trae Young, Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson, Porzingis. He fits that so well. He gives the Hawks a winning puzzle piece, and he's not necessarily a centerpiece, which the Hawks need. So with the Spurs back on the clock to round the lottery, this is such a reach to some, but to me, it's such a good pick. Dylan Cardwell out of Auburn. The double big chemistry with him and Johnny Broom was impeccable. They were plus 183 as a net rating and 384 minutes. It was defensive dominance from Auburn this season, and Cardwell is such an important part of that. I think he would work so well next to Wembanyama, and I don't think he would have spacing chaos. What Cardwell brings is a 7'6" wingspan, nearly 400 career blocks. Cardwell was that key to Auburn's defense. He was their focal point, and he improved their efficiency by about 8 points per 100 possessions when he was on the floor. He has such low volume, but even in that low volume, you're looking at 65% a field goal percentage around the rim, and that consistently stays around 70% across all his seasons. He's so reliable, he's so high IQ, and he's got such presence in the interior. He's an underrated passer as well. He sees the floor well in drop coverage. He sets up cutters nicely with touch. But more, you're just getting the defense. He averages 7.3% block rate. He only committed 2.2 fouls per 100 possessions, so he'll stay on the court and he'll protect the rim without giving up freebies. The character is the thing you love the most about Cardwell. He's got the best character in the class, and you bet on that every time. He'll help in the locker room, and he'll help on the court. Of course, the question mark on him is the end-of-game viability. He's sub 60% from the free throw line, so unless that improves, the offensive upside in the fourth quarter is limited. But when you have Wembanyama, you're fine with that because Cardwell will be so impactful in the first 3 quarters of the game. Cardwell wasn't great with rebounding, but again, you're in a system where they didn't really need that. In Auburn's scheme, he focused on contests and blocks. He focused on shot deterrence, not necessarily boards. So San Antonio can use Cardwell because he offers this drop anchor stability behind Wembanyama, which allows the Spurs to toggle different defensive looks, especially if they have 3 guards that they're going to be taken early on. I think you go 2 bigs with that, and it pairs so nicely. He's low usage, low volume, he's high impact, and he fits their system of smart, efficient, unselfish basketball. With OKC on the clock, they take Walter Clayton, and they're so happy that he arrives in Oklahoma City. He was so elite in March Madness. He shot 41% from 3 in the NCAA tournament. I mean, we all saw the shots he hit. He had that 23-point game. He had that 30-point game. He was able to push Florida through those high-pressure rounds. And talk about those high-pressure situations where he absolutely thrives. Talk about those crunch moments. He delivered 10 points in the final 3 minutes of 2 late-round wins. He's such a fearless shot maker. On top of that, look at past champions. Look at Christian Braun. Look at Donovan Clingan. They may have not been taken that high in the draft, but they made an impact when they're on a team. There's something about champions, man. There's something about adding a champion to a championship team. It's a aura of champions. He closed out the national title game even with a defensive stop in the final seconds. He's just got this big moment DNA. The on-ball defense concerns are fair, but Oklahoma City will make up for that. He averaged 1.6 steals, and his defensive instincts aren't that bad. They're actually really good. Even at Iona, he was probably like their best defender under that Pitino system. I mean, he was so good. His tape shows some issues on switches, some issues with lateral containment, but he's tough, right? He's so tough. His on-ball footwork has to sharpen at the next level. He's got this compact frame, so at 6'3", he'll definitely be tested guarding bigger players, and it's going to require scheme protection. That's why I love OKC. OKC was a team, don't forget that towards the end of the playoffs, they had some moments where they stalled offensively in these key moments, and Clayton offers this scoring pop, this scoring juice that I actually don't think they have right now, obviously outside of Shea, of course. He's got this composure, he's got this shot-making ability that can swing a quarter, it can swing a run, it can just add presence. He's such a good pressure bucket getter, and he's going to thrive in OKC. Memphis at 16, they take Drake Powell. Drake Powell has a 7-foot wingspan. He had the highest vertical at 43 inches. It gives him the length, and he has tremendous bounce to guard wings and finish explosively. Drake Powell would be such a good piece for Memphis because they can rely on him to kind of take time and develop. He shot 37.9% from 3. He thrives on spot-ups. He's really good at cutting, and he fits perfectly in modern kind of off-ball roles. Obviously, he had that low usage at North Carolina. He was playing out of position, as we know, and just had, about 7 points a game. But he still hit 48% from the field. So he plays with flow, he makes connected passes, and when he needs to, he scores when called upon. he is such a disruptive defender. So talk about his quick hands, talk about his huge long frame. It led to a lot of steals per game. It showed that he's switchable. He has this off-ball IQ and this awareness when he needs to rotate. That's so big. Just the situational awareness and the rotation awareness are so critical to loving Drake Powell. Offensive assertiveness is certainly needed. So he lacked aggression immediately as a freshman at North Carolina. So what we see with Drake Powell is the tools are there and the defense is there. That's so big. He had the best defense on his team by far on that North Carolina team. But he's got to hunt shots on offense a little bit more, or not a little bit, way more consistently. The strength and physicality, he definitely needs to bulk up to defend bigger wings, but he shows effort and discipline on both ends, and he shows effort and discipline on the defensive end with his contests. So you've got John Morant, you've got Jaren Jackson Jr., you've got a lot of primary guys in this offense. Powell can be a low-usage defensive guy at worst, and so that spacing already makes him a perfect complementary glue guy. He brings size, he brings poise to a roster that does need some perimeter stability, especially since you lost Bane. With Minnesota on the clock at 17, I'm going Ryan Nembhard, which I know that seems like such a reach, but to me, Ryan Nembhard, just take a moment and fall in love with the fit of him on Minnesota. Mike Conley's aging out. Nembhard will give the Wolves a true pass-first point guard. He's going to set up Anthony Edwards. He's going to anchor the offense. He's got this maturity about his game. He's got this feel. He's got this shot-making ability as well, which is ideal for a playoff-ready team that needs that floor stabilizer. In the NCAA, he averaged about 10 assists per game. He had such an incredible assist-to-turnover ratio. He runs that offense with such composure and precision. I know his coach was saying, oh, he's the best playmaker I've ever seen. He's such a high field defender as well. 1.7 steals per game. He's able to read passing lanes. He doesn't have ideal size. He's actually shorter than his brother Andrew, but I still think he's valuable, and I still don't think he was a negative defender at Gonzaga. He's got this efficient shooting touch, so he's shooting 40% from three. He can play off other players. 45% overall, 77% from the free throw line. You love that efficiency. He's able to knock down open looks. He's got this clutch DNA. There were so many games where he had 10 plus assists, 0 turnover games in big moments. He's able to control the tempo, and he thrives under pressure. He is so overlooked to me right now. He's undersized, yeah, at 6 foot with a 6'3" wingspan, and he does lack switchability, but he makes up for that because he has this high IQ and motor to stay competitive on that end. On offense, he's such a positive, and I think he's a real steal. So with the Washington Wizards back on the clock, this time they're going to opt for Max Shulga. Max Shulga is so elite as a shooter and a playmaker. He shot 39% from three and averaged 4 assists per game. He's so polished, and he's got this combo guard skill set with really good vision. His rebounds were some of the best parts of his game. He pulled down about 6 boards per game. So he's high effort, he's tough, and he's got this nose, this knack for getting to the ball. He's also just like a do-it-all leader. You're talking about the A10 player of the year, and on this VCU team that were actually pretty good, he led them in points, assists, steals, and was second in rebounding. He was that heartbeat, that soul of the team. Again, A10 player of the year. He won that over Fleming. Shulga is built through adversity. He's Kiev born. He was shaped by early life instability, and he brings this uncommon resilience and leadership maturity that, in my opinion, not a lot of prospects have in the way that Shulga does. Shulga is so reliable. He's so clutch. You're talking about 8 20-plus point games. You're talking about 2 double-doubles. You're talking about a good assist-to-turnover ratio. He's so consistently productive in big moments. So for the Washington fit, it's just like Shulga brings IQ that they need. He brings toughness. He brings shot making. He's an ideal plug-in for a team that has such an evolving rotation. This is a guy that can stick. So with the Brooklyn Nets back on the clock, this time they take Amari Williams. Amari Williams is such an elite rim anchor. He averaged over 2 blocks a game, about 9 rebounds per game, and he posted a near 7% block rate. You're talking about a true paint protector, a true glass cleaner. I actually thought he outplayed Garrison on Kentucky on the defensive end, and Garrison is just known for that end. Amari Williams was so good. He had such a presence on the inside. He's also a soft touch scorer. You're talking about 64% from the field, 62% on post-ups. He's aggressive, and he's got this finesse about him. He's got these pro-ready physicals. So you're talking a 7-footer. You're talking 7'4" wingspan, 35-inch vert, 255 pounds. That's a guy who can switch, and that's a guy who can also play drop coverage. You're talking about a playmaking center. He averaged assists. He was so good as a short roll decision maker. He was so good as a high post facilitator. You're talking about a guy who had such a rare two-way stat line. He's the only SEC player with over 375 points, 300 rebounds, 100 assists, 40 blocks, 20 steals in one season. He does everything. You're talking about a guy who's clutch. You're talking about a guy who's efficient. He averaged 6 points per game in crunch time, maintaining high efficiency late in games. You're talking about that dominant performance against Auburn, 22, 12, and 5 to seal it. And that's fueled by Weetabix, baby. His game relies on spacing tools and feel rather than burst and high flying ability. I love the fit with Brooklyn because it gives them an interior presence with passing upside and defensive command. He can play off guys really well, and the playmaking is what you love. He can complement, he can create flexibility. I love this pick. So with Miami on the clock here, they're going to take Caleb Grill. Caleb Grill shot 40% from deep. He's elite as a catch-and-shoot threat. This is another guy that I love. He's risen up my board, and I love his character, and I'll tell you why. Caleb Grill is a clutch performer. He hit 42% from three in crunch time. He had game winners. He had tournament poise. He's a defensive agitator. He gets his hands on steals. He holds up in isolation. He brings effort. He brings disruption. But more so than that, it's the instant offense. He can get blazing hot so quick. You're talking about 22 off the bench versus Florida, a season-high 33 versus Eastern Washington, and what I love is the character. He battled back from wrist and neck injuries. He's so gritty. He got kicked off the team and then ended up becoming captain at Missouri. He earned 6 Man of the Year honors. I don't shy away from this. Instead, I love that resilience, the resilience that's molded into his character. So the question here, was it just a hot streak or can we fall in love with him? And I'd love to take the chance, and I think Miami's a type of team that would take the chance on a guy like that. He fits whole Heat culture to a T. He's going to be a two-way energy guy for Miami. He's tough, he's physical, and he's wired to compete. He's almost psychopath-like, and I love him. So with the Utah Jazz back on the clock, I think they can afford to invest in upside. And so Noa Essengue fits as a long-term project with a lot of two-way potential, and he's so good in the fast break. He's so good in transition. You're talking about an explosive finisher. He scores about 12 points per game on 65.9% field goals from the two-point line. That includes 72.4% at the rim. Pretty good around the rim, and he's got elite burst and athleticism in the paint. He's a defensive disruptor, so you're talking about active hands. He flashes strong anticipation. What you don't love is like I know there's like a concern, especially for me, like with just his build and his chest and stuff like that. So, I mean, he's got a lot of work to do. He's so raw, and I don't love the player, but you do love what he can become. He's so toolsy, but he's so raw. So he shot just 29.4% from three, and he had some streaky reads. So the offensive game needs catching up. His defense, though, is good, and he's really good on ball with his defense. He had some do-it-all flashes in his league, so he averaged about 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, and a block per 48. So he's versatile, but he just lacks refinement right now. At just 18, he's already logging Euro Cup minutes. Granted, it's off the bench, but that's valuable experience despite the growing pains you're going to have with him. This is kind of like a Richardson type player, and I think he's probably going to go higher in the draft than what I have him at. But obviously there's just concerns. I mean, one, for example, did he quit on his team, or is the NBA draft something any player would go to if they were given the opportunity? Either way, Jazz invest in the upside here with this pick, and it's something they can walk away more than content with. So the Brooklyn Nets back on the clock here for their third of 5 picks, and this time they're going to go Khaman Maluach. To me, he drops in the draft. I know some people have him super high, like top 5 even, but I don't know, and I'll tell you why. But first, we'll talk about the positives. He's massive. He's got a huge frame. He's 7'2". He's got the 7'7" wingspan. He's able to anchor the paint well. He's got natural rim protecting gifts. I don't know if I love him as an anchor, but he's pretty good. He's an efficient play finisher. You're talking about a guy that shot 70% from the field, 74% true shooting. He's really good as a lob target. He's really good as a rim runner, and he's great as a putback threat. He's got this soft touch of the line as well. He's shooting 76% from the free throw line. It hints that he's got some offensive polish to him, and he's got potential future stretch flashes. We haven't seen it yet. He says it's because of it's not what Duke needed. They didn't need him to shoot the three. but I don't know. I don't know if I trust the 3-point jumper at the pro level. You're talking, though, about an active rebounder, really good. He had superb rebounding rates. He's quick off the ground, and he plays really, really hard. He's also got a great character, great locker room guy. That's what you love. What I don't like the high fouls. You're talking about a lot of fouls. You're talking about, it's not necessarily reckless. Not at all, actually. But he still can get into trouble. The reason for the slide, though, is I just don't trust the lateral agility. I think he's got limitations there. And, of course, the no proven jumper. I think those cap his upside. And so he's got a raw skill set in a league that kind of demands a little bit more versatility. I still think for Brooklyn here, with picking him here, it's a developmental big behind guys you already have that are pretty good, like Nick Claxton, for instance. And Maluach gives Brooklyn that long-term rim protector, interior finisher to kind of groom in a structured system. Worst case, I think he still has a good floor outcome. And so the Pelicans return, and they're going to draft Boboljub Markovic. He's a 6'10 stretch big. He's got deep range. He's got switchability, and he's got really good feel. He's like a modern front court project with this rare Euro polish. And the one thing I love about him is his aura. He's got good aura. But in terms of what he does well, he's got this stretch 5 upside. So you're talking about shooting 40% from deep on about 3 attempts per game. You're talking about 56% from the field overall. And so he's a spacing threat with smooth mechanics. He posts about a steal and a block per game. He switches well for his size on tape, and he's able to disrupt passing lanes with really good active hands. You can tell he's a pretty smart player. He's 6'10", 7'3" is his wingspan, 245 pounds with a 34-inch vertical, so he's pretty physically ready with a versatile build. Obviously, there's work to do there. His playmaking flashes. He's pretty good at playmaking. There's a lot of Serbian bigs that are good playmakers, and Markovic is able to initiate offense from the elbow and also in handoffs. He's the youngest Euro prospect to average over 12 points a game, 6 rebounds a game, as well as 35% from 3. So he's already producing at high levels, and he's playing against NBA players. There's this one guy who plays in the Serbian league, and he did really well against him. I forgot his name. He didn't stick in the NBA for a while and was pretty bad, but it shows that he's done it against high-level talent. The defensive refinement is key. So he's a solid mover, but he still needs developing against NBA-level agility. And then the turnover rate is really high. And so that and the untested spot-up consistency are definitely areas for growth. I think New Orleans here, they get a high upside fit. He's got spacing capability, and he's a future piece who fits with kind of the modern roster vision for what you want on an NBA team. OKC back on the clock, and they're going to go Jahmai Mashack. He's probably the top defender in the class, and he can step in day one as that specialist. Of course, without playmaking or really just offensive feel, he's going to be a role player and not necessarily even a starter. But again, I think OKC can afford to take another specialist to add to their insane defense. Like, why not? He's just locked down on the perimeter. You're talking about huge with steals. You're talking about SEC all defensive honors. He was able to shut down all the top wings across the SEC. He's got good steal rate. He's a key piece on the nation's #1 field goal defense. I mean, Tennessee was so good, and he was that catalyst. He was that leader for them. He still also does hit 35% from 3 on decent volume too. So he's more than just defense. He wasn't productive offensively necessarily, but he could just stand there in the corner and shoot threes and play tough defense. And OKC, why not take that? He's kind of like, I don't want to call him Lou Dort in a sense, but maybe there's shades of it. Just because OKC. He's also just a clutch defender. He delivered in tight moments. You're talking about that Kentucky game, 2 late steals. He held Alabama wings to shooting under 30% from the field. He's got these tools to switch. He's got a 6'8" wingspan. And what you love is the constant energy. He's just a pest. And I mean, OKC's full of them already. They're flooded with them. Why not add another? He's nicknamed the Tasmanian Devil. He's got this relentless motor in passing lanes. He's able to close out really well. So yeah, the offensive ceiling is capped, but the hustle is there, and you gotta love him with OKC. So at 25, you've got Orlando, and I've got them taking Tre Johnson. He's got this elite defense at his size with real 3-and-D upside. Obviously the brother of Jalen Johnson, but I think he's a really good role player. Obviously not a star in the making, but his game depends on the system he's in, not necessarily the creation. I think he played for UCLA and he played for USC. Those were not the two best situations for him, but I still think he thrived, especially on the defensive end. I was way more impressed than Collier when he played with him at USC. Kobe Johnson looked really good. Yeah, he doesn't have this immense court presence, but his defensive instincts are very good. He was 2-time Pac-12 All-Defensive. He won Big Ten All-Defensive honors. He had about 2 steals per game this season. He also shot the ball well from 3, and that's what you love about him. You love the 3-and-D ability. He's a true 3-and-D threat. He shot 36% from deep on really good volume, and he adds spacing without needing the ball at all. He's a guy that can sit in the corner for Orlando and shoot well. They've got guys like Franz Wagner. They've got Paolo Banchero who are taking up the ball. You need guys who can play off that. You've got Desmond Bane who can play off of it. Kobe Johnson can also play off of it. He's smart. He's got good instincts. He's 6'6". He's got a 6'10" wingspan. He's able to rotate. He's able to anticipate. He's able to contest without fouling. Shout out Darvin Ham. He's got this veteran presence. He started all 34 games for UCLA. He was consistent. He was poised on both ends. He was clutch. He had 6 steal games, and so many momentum shifting plays that made him such a trusted defensive closer for that UCLA team. And even when he was with USC, he was doing the same. He's not going to be a creator or necessarily a bursty athlete, so he's got limited upside off the dribble. Before Orlando, he adds a defensive depth piece. He adds just this plug-and-play rotational piece that they can totally use. Brooklyn on that clock for their second to last pick of the first round, and I have Tre Johnson falling all the way here. To be fair, I don't love heavy volume scorers that can't do much anywhere else on the court. Tre Johnson right now is being sold as this 3-level scorer, it's fair at times, but right now he's kind of streaky. He's pull-up heavy, and he's got major defensive as well as playmaking concerns. For me, that's what I see. He's got star potential, but there's just so many questions and not enough answers. He's a good volume scorer, but it's not necessarily efficient. He averaged 20 points per game. He's a good shooter, 40% from 3, but his best looks came off high freedom, not necessarily structured offense. The clutch stats matter, so 6 points per game in crunch time, it's pretty strong, but he's more of a rhythm-dependent rather than reliable decision-maker when it comes to being under pressure. There's almost... defensively, it was such low volume. So, yeah, he was 71st percentile in isolation defense, but I saw a lot where he just routinely lost focus off ball and he gets beat by stronger players. I think that's only going to continue in the NBA, and it really scares me. He's got this tough shot diet where he relies on contested pull-ups with a low free throw rate. He doesn't necessarily generate pressure or collapse defenses, and the playmaking is limited. He's got slow processing. The ball sticks. It doesn't necessarily elevate teammates. Again, don't love volume scorers. He's got, to me, an inconsistent motor. So I love his character. I love what he thinks he can be, and he might become that. I'm not totally counting out on him. It's why I still have him late first round, but there's so many question marks. He doesn't necessarily always fight through screens, and I think the talent might be there, but it's not fully there, and I don't know. The physical tools, 6'6" with a 6'10" wingspan, are good, but I think the Nets here, let me stay positive and say that the Nets can swing on the shot creation upside. That's what you can get for sure. Again, I'll go back to the negatives, and he's just a tough bet without that defensive growth or the off-ball maturity. Brooklyn, final pick in the first round. They go Kobe Bryant. He's the type of sniper who's going to transform offenses because of his shooting, because of his IQ, and he's got an edge to his game. He's got, another guy with an aura about him. He'll always stretch the floor, but obviously the biggest thing is he might be the worst defender in the class. Right now. He could be good, but right now, worst defender in the class. Also a lack of burst. I think it caps his ceiling. He is a dead-eye shooter. He was so good the last 2 years as a shooter with Dayton and now at Kentucky this past year. 44% from deep on about 6 attempts per game. He was elite in catch and shoot, elite off screens, elite in pull-up threes. It's a very situational guy that can work well. And in the modern NBA, you need shooters. Kobe Bryant is the best one in the class. He's got a veteran feel. he had low volume, low usage at Kentucky, but he still was the most impactful player to their offense. He operates within a system, so he's mistake-free. He's a mover with strong decision-making. He's got a good assist-to-turnover ratio. He's 98th percentile in pick-and-roll shooting, 100th percentile in spot-ups, and he's able to rise in rhythm. He's such a good rhythm shooter. He's 6'6" with a 6'9" wingspan. It's solid frame, but he just hasn't shown the defensive ability yet. He beat a double leg stress fracture, and he bounced back with a 50% three-point shooting year at Dayton. I love the toughness. I love the resilience. It's just, again, he struggles in closeouts. He struggles with his lateral quickness, and the ball containment he struggles with. He gets targeted in switches. He gets targeted in the pick and roll, and that's going to amplify at the NBA level, which might make him unplayable. He's limited at the rim, and I don't know. For Brooklyn, it's a spacing-starved offense, and Kobe Bryant you can bet on because he gives the Nets a plug-and-play shooter with smart instincts. He'll just need help defensively in order to stay on the floor. Boston on the clock, they go Noah Penda. He's got this pro length, this craft about him, and the best thing you love is the on-ball defense and his defensive instincts. He defends, he rebounds, he plays smart. It's just the shot and focus, they need to catch up to his body. The physical frame, 6'8", he's got about a 7'2" wingspan, 242 pounds. He's built like a switchable NBA forward. He's got the build. He's got strength to guard wings, and he's got strength to also guard small bigs. He's got defensive tools. He's in a good league in France. He's got active hands, quick reads, and he was a plus defender on a team that, they were terrible defensively, which is a little scary that he couldn't bring up the whole defense. But again, it was probably just the people around him. I don't know much about who he was playing with, to be fair. Penda as a glass-cleaning wing, he's a good rebounder. He's got strong offensive rebounding effort. He's physical. He's present around the rim. He's a pretty good playmaker where he's able to process actions pretty quickly. He plays unselfish ball from the wing. He wasn't great on offense, to be fair, but there is some stuff to like. He's a 52% on twos. He's efficient on the inside, even necessarily when he doesn't have the ability to blow by defenders. He's young. He was the MVP of U20 Eurobasket. You gotta love some stuff about him for sure. But he's just 30% from three. He's got shaky mechanics. It limits his spacing value right now, and the offensive game might keep him off the court, even though his defense is what you love. To be fair, though, at times defensively, he does ball watch, he does lose off-ball cutters, so the instincts flash, but the consistency on both offense and defense lags, and that's a trend for a lot of international guys in this class. The consistency lags just a little bit. Penda is not an elite athlete. He relies more on his feel and his strength rather than his vertical pop or necessarily like quick twitch ability. But I think Penda is worth taking at the end of the first with the Celtics. He's switchable. He's a tough-minded wing. He fits their defensive identity. He fits their physical brand. He's not going to demand touches, but he's going to learn behind vets, and he's going to sharpen his shot and focus. He's an ideal long view depth play that can probably do a decent job right now. With the 29th pick, I've got the Phoenix Suns taking Asa Newell. He slides. He doesn't fall out of the first round, but he slides from where he was previously. He's 6'10". He does rebound. He kind of protects the paint, and he finishes with elite explosion. The offense is really good. Even in the high volume role, he was very productive. But to be fair, he's not that consistent in shooting. He's a high upside project, not necessarily a plug and play guy. And here's why. The efficient interior scoring is huge. So he averaged 15 points a game on 54% field goal shooting. He finished 73% at the rim with over 50 dunks. He's got this vertical burst about him, and he's got this soft touch around the rim. That's what you love about him. That's the selling point, is that soft touch. He's got some rim deterrent upside, so he's got a 6% block rate, a little bit under that, 5.6%, and he held opponents to just 45% at the rim. So he does flash timing, he does flash tools. He's got an elite frame, so you're talking about a 7'4" wingspan on a guy that's 6'11", that you're viewing as hopefully he can become a stretch player, because he shot 26 threes at a 29% clip. He shot 75% at the line, so that's enough indicators to believe the long-term shooting should grow. He's also got a 36-inch vertical, so he's kind of this prototype stretch big physicality that the idea of him, you love to be an NBA option. The motor flashes are scary, so he's top 5 in SEC offensive rebounding percentage. He regularly sprinted the floor, and he played in transition pretty well like a true run and jump big. But what scares me is that despite all the tools and despite some of these motor flashes, he's not a consistent defender. The effort, the motor, and discipline, they come and go, and that's so scary. The mentality questions are there, so he didn't always anchor defensively. The lateral quickness worries me. And will he be a tone setter at the next level? I don't know. I still think here it's worth taking because you're betting on a raw, high upside front court piece that the Suns can use. He offers long-term versatility. He offers floor spacing potential alongside all these other Suns players that they need the front court. He's not ready to anchor a defense now, but maybe you can invest in those physical tools. So to round out the first round here, the Clippers take Zion James. Zion James is a guy that honestly, he just looks like an NBA player when you look at that on tape. He's got this build about him, and he's got this presence that you're like, okay, maybe he can fit. James is able to lock up, he's able to hit threes, and he probably will be able to fit instantly. He's not going to be a lead guard, but he'll be a smart piece. Or he might be a smart piece that makes NBA rotations just a little bit smoother. He was good as a defensive playmaker, averaging about a little under 2 steals per game, but he had a good steal rate. He was 83rd percentile in isolation defense, which is what you love. He's able to lock in, and he reads plays really well. He was a reliable spot-up shooter for Duke. You're talking about 38% from 3, while averaging a good number of points per game, over 10. And he delivered in big moments, such as 4 of 7 from deep when they played UNC. This is a guy that has balanced two-way production. He is such a low-maintenance contributor. And he's got the ideal build for a modern-day guard. He measured 6'5" barefoot. He's got a huge wingspan, and he's 200 pounds. So he's switchable. He's physically ready. He's good around screens. He's also really good at averaging steals in close game. He had steals against USC. He had steals against Miami. These were key on tape because they were such good, timely stops. For the Clippers, they need depth. They need switchable defenders around these aging stars, so he'll fit immediately, and he can play off of James Harden super well. He can play off of Kawhi Leonard even really well because he's 3-and-D. He had size, he had spacing, and he has poise without needing touches. That's a plug-and-play connector who can raise a second unit's floor immediately. That's the hope, at least.